my name is Kayleen and I'm here in the BB Garage today to show you how to replace the sliding mechanism on your Allegro 2 foot bar. That thing looks like this, and we're actually going to put this one in after we take the old one out. For whatever reason, you may need to replace it. So this procedure has a few steps. The first thing we're going to do is remove your foot bar from the sliding mechanisms it's attached to right now. Then we will prop up the head end and remove the end casting on the head end. And then we can slide your old mechanism out, slide the new one in, put the end casting back on, put your foot bar back on, and you should be good to go. All right, first things first. In your package, you should have a wrench, and we're going to use that wrench for a few things today. All right, so I'm going to move my foot bar to the 1, 2, 3, 4th dot, just because it will give me a little bit more room to work. There we go. And we're going to use the straight end of your wrench to loosen the bolt that's right here behind the foot bar. Remember, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So we're going to go lefty-loosey today, which is counterclockwise. And sometimes once you loosen it enough, you can even use your fingers to keep going. But sometimes you still need a wrench. So let's see. All right, so we should have 3 little pieces here. We've got the bolt and a washer. Whoops. And then we should also have a square spacer. So 3 things. And they might be dirty, so I'm going to put them on the floor instead of putting them on the carriage. We don't want the carriage to get dirty. Okay, let's do the same thing on the other side. Okay, I've got my 3 pieces on this side, so we're good. Now we want to make sure that your pins on your foot bar mechanism are removed. So they should hang loosely here, just like that. And then we can lift the foot bar up, and it should come right off. And we don't even need to take it all the way off of the frame. It can just rest on the floor, just like that. Okay. Now that we've got the foot bar off, we're going to switch to the head end. The thing I'm going to start with is to remove the risers here. So I'm going to reach underneath and find the gray knob and twist them counterclockwise, lefty-loosey. And then I should be able to lift the risers out just like that. And we can rest them just there on the carriage. Okay, now it's time for your sitting box. We're going to take a sitting box on the floor, and I like to cover it with a towel to protect your upholstery, your vinyl. And you might want some help with this, but we're going to lift this end up and slide the box underneath it. So I've lifted. And now we've got the head end legs are just off the ground. So that's perfect. We'll go back to grab our wrench. Here it is. Okay, and we're going to use the curved end to climb underneath and loosen 4 nuts. Okay, so those 4 nuts are located under here at the very end of the rail. So you can see the seam here. They're just inside, right by this seam. I'm going lefty-loosey here, or as Ken would say, counterclockwise. Now, if it seems like this is staying hard a lot, you'll notice that the end casting kind of wants to drift or lean away from the rails. And so sometimes I'll just use my hand and push the end casting onto the rails. And that allows the nut to move a little bit more. So let's see, not quite ready to come off by hand. There we go. Okay, let's do the other side. All right, we've got those 4 nuts off. Now we can easily remove this end casting here. We can put it off to the side. I've got a couple of moon boxes here because I'm going to prop up the rails. Some other things that work are yoga blocks or little dumbbells. Those will also help because we just need a little bit of clearance between the frame and the box on the side that we're going to remove the sliding mechanism from. All right, so I'm just going to slide this under like that. And there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this sliding mechanism out of the rail. We're going to come over here and you're going to find there's a bolt end that's sticking out. Okay, so right about here, press down on that bolt and that will enable the whole mechanism to slide. Now, when we come here to the end, let me flip around here. There is a spring-loaded plastic ball in here that might pop out. Well, it probably will pop out. So just be aware. We've got a new one to install with the new slider, so that's okay. But there we go. Here it is. Ta-da! All right, so this is our old mechanism, and that slidey, that little plastic ball I was talking about sits right here. Sometimes it pops out, sometimes it doesn't. All right, so let's put our old mechanism off to the side. We don't need it anymore. I'm going to go grab the new one along with that handy bag of parts. So in your bag of parts, there should be another little tiny bag that's got 2 white plastic balls and 2 little springs in it. We need to find that. 1 spring and 1 ball go with 1 mechanism. If you get 2 mechanisms, then you get 2 little accessories. Okay, so when you put this in to the frame rail, it should look like this, with this tab pointing down and towards the back side, the head end of the frame. The plastic ball and spring go on the other side. So they're going to go basically on the medial side or the inside. So I'm just going to flip this around so you can see it right here. First, put that spring right inside, and then the plastic ball sits right there on top of it. Now, don't let it tip a little bit because it will fall out. We're going to flip it back around so we've got the right orientation. And then this will slide back into the rail, and I'm holding onto the white plastic ball with my finger the entire way in. Again, find that bolt, pull it down, and make sure everything slides right into the rail. There we go. And then we can slide it all the way back down. And we're going to stop on that 4th dot. Right there, it should click into place. So that way they match on both sides when we put the foot bar back on. All right, so we are ready to put everything back together up here. So I'm going to go ahead, remove my little props. let's replace our end casting. And this sometimes takes a little bit of wiggling to line up, and that's okay. Have patience. Here we go. And we'll crawl back under and replace the 4 nuts. I'm going to start both of these nuts by hand. And I'm giving the end casting a little push with my right hand just to keep it secure and tight. All right, now I can take that curved end of my wrench and tighten these bolts all the way. Okay. Usually if you tighten the bottom one, the top one cinches a little bit tighter, and then I can turn it with my fingers a couple of times more before I get the wrench in, because the wrench can only go about 1/8 of a turn at a time. There we go. All right, that side's good. Let's do the other side. Okay, we've got our end casting secured to the rails. So let's take our sitting box out and replace the risers. All right, last thing, let's put the foot bar back on. So we need to make sure that both of our slider mechanisms are in the same position on each side. So I've got my indicator tab, whoa. I've got my indicator tab on each side on the 4th dot here, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's awesome. I've also got the pin removed on both sides, and it's just hanging there. Okay, so we're going to lift your foot bar up and lift it. So we're going to start behind and then bring it forward. And you kind of have to be gentle here and kind of feel for that mechanism. Okay, so there's one position. That might be the right position. So to check, we're going to have the foot bar in the vertical position and then look and see, can you see the threaded hole right inside there? And yes, I can. So at home, I want you to look and see approximately the spacing here between the vertical foot bar and the tab. And you're going to try and copy that. All right, and it should swing just like this, nice and easy. Now we've got our old hardware here, okay, our bolt, washer, and spacer. We can use that, that's fine, as long as it's not damaged from before. It depends on why you were replacing your mechanism. But your new mechanism comes with a new set of hardware. So I'm going to grab that and use that to reinstall the foot bar just to be safe. So the order of this hardware is washer first, and then the spacer. Now I've got a little trick here for getting your foot bar and bolt on. So I'm going to use both hands and reach around either side of this foot bar. Okay, now I can use my other fingers to move the foot bar into place, right? So I can see that threaded hole I'm aiming for, and now I'm holding the foot bar in place with my like third, fourth, fifth finger, and I'm using my thumb and index finger to tighten the bolt, righty-tighty or clockwise. And I'm going to go as far as I can. This just takes patience. You don't want to force it. Okay, sometimes it takes a while to find the threads, and that's okay. Don't get frustrated, don't force it. And then I'm going to go as far as I can with just my fingers, and then I'll move on to the other side before I get the wrench out. Okay? Okay, let's grab that same wrench we were using. If you can find it, where did I put it? Maybe I left it over here.
It's right there.
Ah, here it is. Thanks. All right, we're going to use that straight end, okay? And tighten the foot bar bolt. Righty-tighty. It's not going to, it should be a hard stop because it's got a shoulder on the bolt, so it'll be a hard stop when you've reached the end. Be patient. You can't go very far in one turn. There's my hard stop. I'm going to put the pin in that storage hole right there. Keep it out of the way. All right, found the hard stop on that side. I'm going to put the pin in the storage hole over here. And we're ready to test the foot bar. So I can slide it easily up and down the frame. I can easily put it into position. All right, so our reformer is now ready for a session. Thanks for joining me today. If you need more videos like this one, you can find them at pilates.com/bbgarage. I'll see you there.